In the lush coastal villages of Buka Island, part of Papua New Guinea's autonomous region of Bougainville, where customary beliefs intertwine with modern life, a haunting urban legend has endured for over half a century. This is the tale of the Hahalis Welfare Society's baby garden, a shadowy commune rumored to have existed in the 1960s, where young girls were allegedly separated and subjected to ritualistic practices, or even sacrificed to fuel a revolutionary movement against colonial oppression. The baby garden was no mere communal experiment, but a secretive operation orchestrated by the Hahalis leaders, John Teosin and Francis Hagai, to harness spiritual and social power under the influence of supernatural forces. This video delves into the origins, persistence, and cultural significance of this enduring tale, exploring why it continues to captivate Papua New Guineans and what it reveals about the nation's complex historical, social, and political landscape. To understand the baby garden legend, we must first uncover the Hahalis Welfare Society, HWS, the nativist movement at its core. Founded in 1957 in Hahalis Village on Buka Island, the HWS emerged as a bold response to the Australian colonial administration's control over Papua New Guinea, then known as the Territory of Papua and New Guinea. Led by John Teosin, a Catholic-educated visionary born in 1938, and his brother-in-law, Francis Hagai, a charismatic militant organizer, the HWS sought economic self-reliance and cultural revival in the face of colonial taxes, missionary dominance, and erosion of tradition. At its peak, in the 1960s, the society claimed nearly half of Buka's population, around 4,500 members, making it a formidable force in the region. The HWS was rooted in principles of communal farming, shared labor, and profit pooling to fund machinery, trade stores, and copra marketing. It rejected colonial impositions like the head tax, which the Halia people of Buka saw as exploitative, offering no tangible benefits in return. In 1961, the society established an opposition church, Sorilotu, in Tokpisin, breaking away from Catholic missionary control, abolishing bride price, and challenging elder authority over marriage. These radical moves positioned the HWS as a proto-nationalist movement, blending custom with anti-colonial oppression, though colonial authorities branded it a cargo cult, an insulting term for Melanesian movements expecting material wealth through spiritual means. The HWS's most infamous act came in 1962, when it led a rebellion against the head tax. Under Hagai's leadership, 1,000 society members confronted 500 police officers flown in from across PNG. The clash left 40 villagers and 25 police injured, with Teosin, Hagai, and nearly 600 members arrested. Though the Supreme Court later remitted most sentences, the event cemented the HWS's reputation as a defiant force, amplifying its mystique and setting the stage for the baby garden legend. The baby garden myth centers on a supposed commune established by the HWS in the early 1960s, where young single girls were segregated by age in thatched huts, required to provide certain favors to men, or were subjected to ritualistic practices to empower the society's agenda. Some versions claim the girls were raised collectively to serve as future revolutionaries, while darker rumors suggest they were sacrificed to appease ancestral spirits or secure a supernatural favor. The official narrative, as recorded by colonial authorities and later anthropologists, suggests the baby garden was a distorted exaggeration. The HWS did reorganize social structures, including marriage and gender roles, to challenge missionary and colonial norms. Young women may have been housed together as part of communal labor or cultural revival efforts. But there is no concrete evidence of forced indecent practices or sacrifices. Studies suggest that the baby garden was likely a missionary fabrication to discredit the society, amplified by colonial fears of nativist uprisings and rebellion. Yet, for many Papua New Guineans, the legend persists as more than a colonial smear. Oral accounts from Buka describe the baby garden as a hidden enclave guarded by HWS loyalists and shrouded in secrecy. Some claim it was a spiritual movement where girls were offered to ancestors to ensure the society's success. Others suggest foreign powers, missionaries, Australian agents, or even shadowy global organizations manipulated the HWS, using the baby garden as a cover for their own agendas, such as population control or resource exploitation. These narratives gained traction due to the HWS's secretive operations and the colonial administration's heavy-handed response. The lack of transparency during the HWS's peak years fueled speculation. Villagers were rarely allowed to speak freely with outsiders, and colonial police reports were vague, citing immoral practices without specifics. This blank, combined with the HWS's rejection of Christian norms, led to rumors of sorcery and supernatural involvement. In PNG's cultural context, where belief in spirits and witchcraft remained strong, such accusations carried weight, transforming the baby garden into a symbol of both resistance and conflict. While the baby garden tale captivates, the HWS's real legacy is equally compelling. The Society's communal experiments laid the groundwork for Bougainville's cooperative movements, and its political activism influenced the region's separatist aspirations. John Teosin, who died in 1987, and Francis Hagai, killed in a 1974 car accident amid rumors of foul play, remain iconic figures in Buka's history. Their vision of a self-reliant Bougainville continues to inspire, even as the baby garden story overshadows their practical achievements. In the shifting shadows of Bougainville's chaotic past, the baby garden legend lingers, whispered from elder to youth, carried by the wind through villages and towns, its secrets never fully concluded. Was it a refuge for revolution, a forgotten sanctuary, or something more unsettling, something unseen? The HWS stood defiant, rejecting colonial rule and Christian dogma, drawing its strength from a vision few could understand. It clashed with authority, its leaders shrouded in secrecy, and when the police rolled around, they found only fragments, a movement scattered yet never truly lost. Rumors spread like wildfire, stoked by fear and intrigue. The missionaries spoke of moral decay, the administrators whispered of sorcery. But no one could prove what truly lay within the depths of Hahalis. Then came the war, the bloodshed of Bougainville, the echoes of rebellion. The baby garden's legend twisted, intertwined with the conflict, feeding off the mistrust and uncertainty that gripped the land. The Bougainville Revolutionary Army emerged in 1988, led by Francis Ona, in response to the exploitation of the Panguna mine and the broader struggle for independence. The Bougainville Revolution Army's fight against the Papua New Guinea Defense Force escalated into a decade-long war marked by blockades, guerrilla warfare, and the resilience of Bougainvilleans who turned to self-sufficiency to survive. The Baby Garden legend, already steeped in secrecy and defiance, became entangled with the revolution. The same distrust of colonial and missionary forces that fueled the HWS's resistance now found new expression in the fight for Bougainville's autonomy. The war deepened the region's skepticism of external control, reinforcing the legend's themes of hidden truths and unseen forces shaping history. Today, the Baby Garden legend persists, never forgotten, never resolved. A story retold, altered with each passing decade, evolving yet remaining consistent. In the quiet of Buka, in the murmur of old men chewing betel nut, the legend still breathes, not in records, not in monuments, but in the spaces between words, in the silences before dusk and dawn. Perhaps it was real, perhaps it never was, or perhaps even now its spirit lingers, waiting, watching, as history moves forward, never truly escaping its shadow. In the end, the legend is less about Hahalis village and more about PNG and Bougainville itself, where history is alive, resistance seems eternal, and the extraordinary is always possible.